It's been about 5 months since my last video covering Ashes of Creation's monthly development updates, and in that time we've seen some really solid progress shown each month, although I was definitely wrong about my prediction on Alpha 2 being announced sometime in Q1 2023. I like to do these Ashes update videos roughly every 3 to 6 months to keep the average casual MMO fan up to date with the project.
Well, I haven't seen this
I feel
one,
like
actually.
if I did it more frequently than that though, it'd become annoying to most people, since we still have no idea when this game will actually release.
They're high on copium.
But now is a good time for a recap because we've seen some really cool stuff since my last vid. In this video we'll cover 5 months of Ashes updates, including the Cleric Showcase, Day and Night Cycle with Constellations, the December Year in Review, the Alpha 2 Tank Archetype Preview, the new UI and UI design process, as well as the Story Arc Systems and Tower of Carthin Preview from the most recent livestream in March. But first, sponsor. Call of Dragons is a massive brand new fantasy strategy game that's been in development for more than 3 years, and
this one actually looks better than one of the other ones.
Now it's finally here. At its heart, Call of Dragons is a 4X strategy game with MMORPG elements that allow you to get immersed in an original epic fantasy world that's full of personality and charm. After all, this game is made by the same team that created the incredibly popular RTS Rise of Kingdoms. Starting out, choose a faction: elves, humans or orcs. Each one has their own strengths and weaknesses. Next, train epic behemoths to aid your alliance in battle and deploy them as your secret weapon. Level up and build a roster of heroes with unique skills that complement each other to turn the tides of battle in an instant, and unleash artifact skills for an even bigger advantage. Call of Dragons also has a true 3D terrain that shapes gameplay. Master the positioning of melee and ranged troops around choke points, and use flying units to sneak attack the enemy. Call of Dragons also has many different game modes where you can put your skills to the test, including PvP, GvE and GvG, where you can deploy up to
you know any of these games is gonna have GvG. That's right.
5 legions for truly massive battles. On top of that, the game also has classic 4X gameplay, where you can zoom in and out of a massive seamless world, as well as experience high quality cinematic graphics, an epic musical score, and fully voice acted characters. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to play Call of Dragons, and use code PLAYCOD now to get epic rewards. Download now. So starting out,
I'm gonna say, I think that of all these like phone game advertisements, I feel like that's one of the best ones. Like it's the only one that I've ever seen that like looks kind of okay.
The Ashes November update. In this one we got a 41-minute long gameplay presentation that showed off a few things.
We saw a little bit of this
First off, Stephen was playing as a female Vec, and I believe this was the first time we've seen this race/gender combo in-game. The team basically show off the deer mounts for a bit, as well as a few nice aesthetics of the Riverlands biome. They travel to the top of the hill and give us our first look at the day-night cycle transition, as well as our first look at the multiple moons of Vera. Here I was impressed by how good the skybox looked, as well as the constellation system, which I'd never actually heard of before this livestream. Basically, you can look up in the night sky at certain locations, and eventually different constellations will appear, which will have an impact.
I think this is very cool. I like the constellation system. It feels very immersive, and it's unique. I haven't seen a lot of games try this before. Yeah, this is awesome.
Impact on the game's narrative and certain abilities. Visually, I thought this looked really cool, and I like immersive features like this in games where you actually have to look around at your environment.
Yeah.
After that we got a showcase of the newly redesigned Cleric with its basic attacks and a few abilities, as the team fought their way through a graveyard. I thought the new Cleric looked a lot better than it did in Alpha 1, but with only a few abilities displayed, there wasn't really anything that made me say to myself, yeah, I want to play as a Cleric in this game.
I think the reason why people haven't really been that hyped about Ashes of Creation is that the gameplay here just looks like it's pretty... like it's very stilted. It's not like fluid. Like you look at, for example, you know, like Blue Protocol, for example, like the combat is very fluid. The character animations fit together extremely well. Like, everything feels good. You look at New World, right? New World has much better, like, fluid animations. Hitting things feels better, etc. So I think that's why a lot of people lost interest with Ashes of Creation, is that until they have, like, a better combat preview, then people are going to be worried about the combat. Yeah, like, look at Diablo 4 versus this. New World doesn't have the weight, though. I don't know. Like, it does whenever you're playing solo on, like, just, like, randomly killing mobs. But, like, in an expedition, no.
Cool to see how different classes have abilities that can synergize together though. In one example, the warrior used Whirlwind to stagger enemies, then the cleric used Chains of Restraint, which stuns enemies that are staggered. Eventually, the team got far enough into the graveyard that they were able to look up and identify a second constellation. Overall, solid livestream. I liked the fog effect on the floor in the graveyard. Nice to see some progress with the cleric.
Yeah, it looks nice.
And the constellation system is pretty cool. December's end of year livestream was a bit different. This one was a pre-recorded year in review style stream that basically went over all the progress that was made in 2022, which was a hell of a lot of progress. In 2020,
I feel like in 2022 they made a massive amount of progress. Like, that's whenever they did, like, I think Unreal 4, Unreal 5, like 4.25. Like, Ashes of Creation popped the fuck off in 2022. Like, the development went way faster than I would have expected.
We saw the following.
Everything was good.
The year
except the
started with the
characters.
announcement that the team was moving from Unreal 4 to Unreal 5.
There it is.
In January, we got multiple race reveals. February was an animal husbandry themed stream, and we got the Pyre race reveal. In March, we got our first look at the Alpha 2 character creator. In April, the team discussed the game's event system. In May, we got an epic live stream showing off the dynamic seasons and weather tech.
This was probably the best one, I would say, is the dynamic seasons. This was awesome.
June showcased a major update to the game's combat system with melee basic attacks. In July, we got a good preview of the desert biome as well as a discussion on dev tools. In August, the team announced that the map size was increasing by 2.5x, with less nodes to ensure the world feels realistic and there's enough space between nodes.
Yeah, that's good.
September, we got a look at the Ranger basic weapon attacks and a few abilities.
This one looks really good too.
October's stream focused on the gathering system, and we basically learned that Intrepid was taking the best parts of New World's gathering and putting it in their game.
Yeah,
and
the gathering that they have already in the game is extremely good.
November was the Cleric, Female Vec, Riverlands and Constellations showcase that I've previously mentioned. So yeah, 2022 was a massive year of progress for this project, and a year in review livestream was certainly warranted. January 2023 was the Tank preview livestream, a 47-minute gameplay preview of a 4-man party once again fighting through the Riverlands, this time with Steven piloting the tank. He showed off a few abilities including a charge, a forward cone AoE, a shout, a damage mitigation toggle ability, and a frontal cone dome ability. Most of the tank abilities shown were said to have some kind of threat generation, and it seems like managing threats will be a big aspect to tanking in Ashes. Some people might enjoy that.
I think the characters are like probably the weak link in terms of the design, and I think also it's because like Unreal 5 does such an incredible job creating outdoor environments like this. It's like nothing else. Like, it's so good. I'm shocked every single time that I see it. So it's like whenever you see something that doesn't have that same level of like fidelity and graphics, it looks even worse.
That style of gameplay, others not so much. The team fought their way through the Riverlands and eventually died to some elite mobs due to an overpull. Apparently this area is designed for group sizes of 8, but with small pulls they slowly made it through the area, with Steven gradually looting himself a full set of blue tank gear with a tower shield.
Yeah, that
During
looks
this
really
live
cool.
stream, the thing that actually impressed me the most was the attention to detail in how some abilities interact with the environment. Here, for example, the shout ability visually moves the grass in a cone.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. Like, all these little things are great. The main concern that I have for Ashes of Creation is the game feel. Does the game feel good to play? That's what matters more than anything else. Because all of this kind of stuff, bro, Ashes is so good. It's amazing.
Thought this was so cool, and it's little things like this that make me feel connected to the world in an MMO. Later we also got our first look at the tank's active block ability. Personally, I'm not too sure how well this will work with a hybrid combat system in the long run, but I guess
it's like, for example, like nameplates in the game, like the on-screen UI, I think is just really hard to read. Like, for example, like the WoW nameplates are really good. You can clearly see how much health the mob has. You don't have to look at there or anything like that. It's right there. Yeah, like, this is just not good.
We'll see during testing. Eventually they made it to the final boss of the area. Steven equips his full Titan bark set, and that concludes the live stream. I'm not really a tank player, so I don't have any strong opinions on the gameplay shown, but it looked decent enough. During this live stream we also had multiple first looks at UI elements such as the looting window, the map, need, greed, pass options for loot, as well as the quest log. Overall, a solid live stream to start the year, although once again, the combat shown didn't really excite me too much, but that's probably due to not being a tank player. February 2023 was a showcase of the updated user interface, as well as a talk about the UI design process, and if it's one thing I'm absolutely certain of about Ashes of Creation after this live stream, is that this game will have a highly customizable top tier UI. As you can—
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter how good the UI is, people still won't want it to be exactly how it is whenever the game begins. Just give people the tools to change the UI around like they can in Final Fantasy, and they will be happy.
See from these slides, the UI has a very distinct and cohesive style about it. The inventory UI seems to have a lot of inbuilt functionality right off the bat, with tabs that allow you to quickly sort between materials, quest items and gear, and there's also a sort button too. So far it kinda reminds me of the inventory in BDO, except with no weight limit. Quick look at the iconography. Some abilities.
All this stuff looks nice. This is good.
And a solid look at the quest log with the multiple dialogue options.
That's fine.
You've got the NPC portrait in the top left of the log, and there's a visual indicator of each quest step, as well as optional quest steps.
As I said, I mean, like, I thought the UI in Diablo 4 was pretty much fine, so, like, I don't really give a fuck about the UI.
A look at the crafting interface so far. A full look at the quest journal. A preview of the options menu, and finally the character sheet.
Seems fine to me.
Overall, I think the UI design so far looks amazing. I'm especially impressed by the quest log and the quest dialogue window. It has a very unique and polished style about it that displays all of the relevant information that you'd want to see. We also know that the UI will be highly customizable to the same level of games like BDO, Final Fantasy XIV, and World of Warcraft, with options to save presets, so there's no real concerns with the UI on my part. However, the only thing I wish they'd improve is the nameplates on the mobs for the upcoming showcases, because currently it doesn't look too good.
It looks like a game that came out in 2000. Like, this is the way super, super old MMOs used to do, and it just looks awful. Like, it just does. Like, the New World nameplates are fucking great. Like, World of Warcraft has, like, 5 different nameplate add-ons that are fucking great. Most games have great nameplates. I feel like this is a very easy fix.
Pretty sure this is just placeholder for now though. Finally, the March livestream, and this one was a bit of a banger as it showed a big system not previously shown in Ashes before, the story arc system. So basically, as nodes level up and certain conditions are met, points of interest around a node may become active, and a special time-limited narrative server-wide event with quests will occur. In this case, the Tower of Carfin narrative was activated. Upon activation, the world shook, and the top of the tower exploded. The area was engulfed in a red mist, and blood starts pouring from the corruption-infested walls. When story arcs like this come online, they spawn NPCs, affect the monsters in the world, and new pathways can open up.
That's cool.
Here, for example, we can see a bridge becomes active, and you can actually see it moving. Really cool to see. The team fight their way through some corrupted mobs to the entrance of the Tower of Carfin. We get a good look at the environment and go inside. My first impression of this place when they first stepped inside the dungeon was just wow.
Yeah.
The lighting, the detail, and the scale of this place looks incredible. The blood dripping from the walls and the mist make it look super immersive.
Oh yeah.
We also got our first look at treasure chests in Ashes.
Okay. It's like a treasure chest?
That's a treasure chest.
Whoa!
Oh shit!
Or not.
I loved the animation on that mimic. It's super cool. Overall,
I've never seen a mimic that's exactly like that. That's cool.
Really solid live stream, and I'm happy Steven has started recording this gameplay in 16:9 resolution rather than widescreen, as it looks a lot better on YouTube. But that's it for my quick recap on the past 5 months of Ashes of Creation live streams. In the next few months, we're apparently going to get a look at the new mage combat, as well as the giant Cyclops world boss, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. As for a release date for Alpha 2, I'm not sure,
it's gonna be
but
soon,
I wouldn't be
guys.
surprised if we get a date for it within the next 6 months, as progress so far seems pretty good.
Oh yeah,
Let me know in the comments below what you think about Ashes of Creation. Is this a game you're still cautiously optimistic about? And do you think we'll see Alpha 2 this year? If you enjoy my content and want to support my Ashes of Creation coverage,
if this game has the degree of combat that something like BDO has, this game will unironically be the next big MMO. It will actually be that big. But it needs to have that level of combat. And it's really, really fucking hard to get there. That's me about GDC wanting me up. Oh shit, but I had already left? That sucks. Yeah, I talked to Steven like maybe, I don't know, like maybe a few months ago. Like, it's been a while. I think he's like, I think some of them are out in Las Vegas. I'm not sure though.
then use my referral code or click the link in the description to create an account, and maybe I'll be rewarded for it one day when the game eventually releases. Social media on screen, help us out with a like for the algorithm gods. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, I think that was a good video. I like that a lot. I didn't even see that part of the end there. I actually might take a look at this because I have not seen this at all. When did that happen? I guess that must have been recent, right? Yeah, I think so. Combat needs a massive overhaul. It's bad. Well, it's just... I don't think that the combat is... It's like you look at a game like Genshin Impact. You look at World of Warcraft. Like, if I were to do combat tier list MMOs, right? Combat tier list. MMO combat tier list. Okay, so number one would probably be Classic WoW. BDO under that. Retail WoW. Lost Ark. Yeah, I think Classic WoW combat feels amazing. I think it's some of the best feeling combat. Whenever you do abilities and like the way the numbers pull up on the screen, like everything about the combat in Classic WoW is very good. Like I know you guys might be memeing about that. Like, yeah, I really think it's like the best combat. I think people also like BDO combat is good, but people way overhype it. I don't think it's as good as people think it is. It was good whenever it came out, but like now it's not incredible. Like this is where I would put them, right? It depends, because like, so I don't know where I'm gonna put Final. I feel like Final Fantasy 14, the combat in Final Fantasy 14 sucks. Like it's just it's really just not that great. Sorry to say, like that's probably the weakest part of the game. Not an end game. I mean, in-game still has the floaty lag, right? Where like you press your interrupt and then it takes like a half second for the interrupt to happen on the screen. Like I doubt that's different at like level 30 versus like level 90. Yeah, it's not responsive enough. I would say like New World probably is better overall than Final Fantasy's combat. I think so. Like this is my opinion of like combat. Personally, I think that, oh, and Blue Protocol, where would I put Blue Protocol? I would say Blue Protocol is here. Yeah, I think Blue Protocol is better than Lost Ark. Absolutely. What makes good combat? Before I do this, what makes combat? Responsiveness, number 1. 2, fluidity. 3, accuracy. Animations, yeah, animations. Animations towards the bottom, yeah. Visceral feel, impact of actions, sound design. This is pretty much like the ranking that I would do. Depth. Yeah, where would I put depth? Probably like right here. I think that Classic WoW has the best combat. I would say BDO is probably second best. I'd say Retail WoW is third best. Blue Protocol and Tower of Fantasy underneath that. And then Lost Ark is a little bit worse. I feel like Lost Ark has a lot of goofiness. Like, sorry, but like a quick-to-move game is just never going to be... Like, it's fucking quick to move. Like, it is an inferior way of moving your character. I'm sorry. It's just trash. Like, if you had WASD, the game would be a lot easier to play, I would say. Genshin and PoE? Well, Genshin and PoE are not... they're not MMOs. I'll take. Wait, so, like, having to click to move is better? Here, let me ask you a question. If they put click to move in Diablo 4, how many people do you think would use click to move? Or sorry, put WASD in Diablo 4. How many people do you think would use click to move? No one. It's just simply a superior way of playing. Yeah, max 10%. Yeah, I mean, if you give people the option between WASD and click to move, they're going to be doing WASD. Tab target's just a dogshit form of combat. I don't view tab target as being bad. I don't think tab target is bad at all. Our friend lost the use of his right hand, so being able to move with only the mouse is critical for him. Well, no. I think that you should have click to move. I think click to move is fine. I just think that any game that only has click to move is inferior. So if you want to use click to move and you like it, you should be able to do that. But I think it's an inferior option that I would never choose. But I know that there are people that are more comfortable with click to move, just like I'm more comfortable with WASD. So yeah, it's like, this is, in my opinion, I feel like, and this is not a fucking, like, this isn't like the 10 Commandments, okay? These are just like my opinions. This is my opinion. Like, I think Classic WoW is the best. I think BDO is the second best. I think Retail WoW is the third best. This is what I think. So I'm not saying that, like, just overall. Everybody's going to have their own opinions.